before we have another song, we're going to actually have DiStephan come up from the band Beyond the Wall, which is a regional Pink Floyd cover band that puts on an amazing show if you ever have a chance. And he's going to share some words for us. Ray?
Thank you, Jeremy, and thank you for all you do. I'll be honest, the reason I'm here today is because Jeremy asked me to be here, and he does so much for so many towns outside of Southbury as well, including Brookfield, where I lived for 21 years up until last week. So I'm kind of in the middle of a move right now, and I'm going to have to wing this a little bit. But I never have a shortage of words to describe my love and why I love Pink Floyd. Why did I choose Pink Floyd to cover in a band? It goes back pretty early for me as a preteen. I was introduced by my older sister to the album The Wall, which was really, in many ways, the last collaborative album done by Pink Floyd. It tells a story of some pretty dark stuff. It goes into some pretty heavy depression, loss, isolation, madness, and narcissism. And at the end of the album, the main character, refers to as Pink, puts himself on trial and determines that he has been pretty much too self-serving, too narcissistic throughout his life, blaming other people for everything, and tears down the wall to hopefully start again. It's actually an optimistic ending that I think a lot of people have misinterpreted over the years. But after discovering that album, I had to do my retro discovery of Pink Floyd. So, of course, I bought Dark Side of the Moon and Wish You Were Here and Animals and all their famous albums. And what I found was lyrics that touched much more on the political realm. And Roger Waters was the primary lyricist for Pink Floyd, became one of my favorite lyricists of all time. And one of the most famous songs that he wrote was a song called Us and Them, I'm sure you've all heard. But the lyrics are really important, I think, to pay attention to. Us and them, after all, we're only ordinary men. Me and you, God only knows it's not what we would choose to do. Forward, he cried, from the rear, as the front rank died. And the general sat on as the lines on the map moved side to side. I'll skip a bit. And at the end it just says, down and out, it can't be helped because there's a lot of it about. With, without, and who'll deny that's what the fighting is all about. Out of the way, it's a busy day, and I've got things on my mind. For want of the price of a tea and a slice, the old man died. So much to interpret and to understand, but clearly the theme of the album Dark Side of the Moon, I think, was just generally about life, but Us and Them really spoke to the political divides in the world and about how we really are not different from each other, obviously, but we draw these lines based on all these different things, and we divide ourselves, us versus them. And it's we I think in this country are experiencing that probably to the greatest extent, my guess is since the Civil War up until this point. After Dark Side of the Moon, they did the album Wish You Were Here, which was a little bit of a different exploration. And then finally, they went on to an album called Animals, which was based in large part on George Orwell's Animal Farm. Roger Waters is a big fan of Orwell's work and decided to make an album. Essentially, it was 3 very long songs, pigs, dogs, and sheep. And kind of wrote the same concepts that Orwell wrote about. Some great lines, though, from some of these songs. One of my favorite from the song Dogs, and again, this could be a little dark, but I think the passion and the anger behind it is a scream for justice from Roger Waters and from the band. And he's speaking in regards to the dogs. And when you lose control, you'll reap the harvest you have sown. And as the fear grows, the bad blood shows and turns to stone. And it's too late to lose the weight you used to need to throw around. So have a good drown as you go down, all alone, dragged down by the stone. The line, it's too late to lose the weight you used to need to throw around, is probably one of my all-time favorites from that band. And in the song Pigs, ironically, when Waters was touring in recent years, during the first Trump administration, he did an entire video montage. You could find it on YouTube. It's pretty awesome, but it really targets Trump as the symbol of a pig in the Orwell sense. Let me just find that for you real quick. Sorry about that. I should know all these words by now. I sing these songs all the time. It's kind of funny. Without the music, I lose the train of thought. Okay. So, big man, pig man, charade you are. You well-heeled big wheel, charade you are. You're almost a good laugh, almost a joker with your head down in the big pig bin saying, keep on digging. You're nearly a laugh, but you're really a cry. Later on, says, this is ironic too. He says, hey, you White House. Now, actually, when he refers to White House, he's not referring to our White House. He's referring to, I think it was Mary Whitehouse in England, who was someone who wanted to censor books and lyrics and things like that. But ironically, the lyric goes, hey, you White House, charade you are. You house-proud town mouse, charade you are. You're trying to keep our feelings off the street. You're nearly a good treat, all tight lips and cold feet. You got to stem the evil tide and keep it all on the inside. Mary, you're nearly a treat. You're really a treat, but you're really a cry. So lots of political interpretation done by Roger Waters throughout the years. And again, he tends to be dark, but something interesting happened in 1987. He did his solo album called Radio Chaos. And the very last song on the album is called The Tide is Turning. And I think it's probably the most optimistic song he ever wrote, and I'd like to recite a little bit from that. I used to think the world was flat, rarely threw my hat into the crowd. I felt that I'd used up my quota of yearning. Used to look in on my children at night in the glow of their Donald Duck light and frighten myself with the thought of my little ones burning. But oh, the tide is turning. Satellites buzzing through the endless night, exclusive to moonshots and world title fights. Jesus Christ, imagine what it must be earning. Who is the strongest? Who are the best? Who holds the aces, the East or the West? This is the crap our children are learning. But oh, the tide is turning. I'm not saying that the battle is won, but on Saturday night, those kids in the sun wrested technology's sword from the hands of the warlords. Oh, the tide is turning, the tide is turning. So I think that's where I'd like to leave off. Thank you.